Hello and welcome to my restoration of the Husky refuse van, and it's not one of my best restores, I've got to admit from the beginning, but it's on not one of the best vehicles to restore, to be honest. They're not good, are the old Huskies? Anyway, the model was based on a Shelvoke and Drury SD wagon, and they had a long history, and the company mainly supplied vehicles for local authorities such as drain cleaners, refuse wagons, street hauser downs for washing the streets off, and they lasted until they were absorbed into Dennis, who still trade. I think they still occasionally use the name Shelvoke on the modern vehicles. Anyway, here's where we started. There's two beaten up and battered ones there, but I wanted one because it had a good chassis, and the other because it had the bin wagon rear on it. But as these things go, they're never simple. I tried by hand and it wasn't working. Drill it out because these chassis are really brittle. But it never worked out and I had to resort to the drill. And as a result it did break. You can virtually say, if you're doing an Husky, 99% of the time you're gonna break the chassis. See, even there he'd had the suspension units that hadn't been broken, and because I stripped it down, I should have used my sense and just painted the bumpers instead of spraying and left the wheels in place. But I thought, oh, I'll take the wheels out and spray it, and I ended up breaking my good chassis, so I ended up just saying sod it, I glued the wheels in place. So it's not a brilliant roller. But the red pigment in it, when you spray the clear coat on, raises to the top. You'll see it on me, and Betty's done it on a few different ones now, and it's always the same red pinky hue. So if I've used all different actual colours from different people, it's not going to be that, it's going to be what's underneath it that it's dragged the paint out of. Anyway, there we go, we're spraying the rear part of the bin wagon. That's what we call them more often in the UK, bin wagons. Unless you live in the posh side of town, then it's a refuse track. Refuse track, you know. Hoity-toity, the side of town where the pigeons fly upside down. And here we are, I'm spraying the body, the pale blue. It's a bit paler than the original, but you know, I weren't over optimistic whether I'm going to throw it in the bin or not. So I just carried on and finished it just to get a video done. But it was nearly a, is it worth it? Because they're not really a popular brand for collectors, husky. There can't be many that collect husky, and those that do, they must struggle like hell to find decent ones. Because they weren't as good as Matchbox and the actual Dinkies and the Corgi range. For taking knocks, they were just very poor quality. And then Corgi Juniors took over that duty, and they were just as bad. Anyway, here's the basic components, ready for putting back together. And as you can see, at that point I hadn't broken the chassis. It's still in one piece, well apart from corner piece at the rear. And it was the front suspension unit I broke, trying to put the wheels back in. But I put them back in and put a dab of super glue inboard on each one, so the wheels still turn, but just not brilliantly. But it's back together and it's something else to put on display. That's 2 bin wagons I've done now. Anyway, we'll get back on to the seeing it on the rotisserie of doom. And here we go. It looks quite a bit nicer now. By the few flaws you're probably looking at that I've mentioned. Thank God I've run out of that primer. I think I might purchase some white primer. I've purchased some black. Well, it's matte black spray, but it's good enough to use as a primer. I've also got some etching primer. Well, there we go, coming round again. They were a very distinctive truck. Very distinctive front end on them. You could definitely tell it were one of the Shelvoke and Drury's. Anyway, thank you for watching. And if you've enjoyed, please subscribe. I get far more watching it than subscribe. I only have a small percentage of viewers that are my subscribers. Anyway, thank you to everybody, and take care out there. Bye for now.